us via sign language, right? Like this is very easily proven. So why not give them consideration of sentience? Or is sentience just the ability to exist outside of one's environment? Well, technically no one has that. If I throw you up into space, you're dead. It doesn't matter. We're all subject to our environments. So then you get into the environment argument. Like the whole thing is this argument based off of something that we can't quantify. So anything beyond conception, right? Where you are now have all of the genetic makeup to be a human, you now have passed. Whether you want to whether we can quantify that with physics or measurable devices or not, at conception, you have passed. At implantation and cell division, the only thing that continues through your entire life up until the point you die. Everyone wants to make this argument about a clump of cells, right? The only thing that starts at life is cell division, and the only thing that stops at death is cell division. At that point, you have cellular death. The cell walls rupture, and the acid within the cell walls starts the decay process. So their whole argument, biologically, especially about the prefrontal cortex, just because we can measure brain activity at that point, doesn't mean that that quantifies sentience. Because I can take 20,000 brain cells and put them on a microchip and make them play a video game. Not only that, let me make one more scientific argument that does not have to do with humans. Okay. Now, if you look up the research article on slime, what's slime mold? Okay. They're going to tell you right within the article, do not quantify this. Do not use this argument to push the argument of sentience or consciousness. However, a single-celled organism can replicate itself, create a mass, and then it will actually take other parts of its single-celled organisms to create its own immune system, which will attack viruses, kill itself, leave the rest of the mold. And a scientist in Japan actually put oatmeal in exact quantities of the populations of each city in Japan. Oatmeal happens to be slime mold's favorite food. What happened was the slime mold was able to make pathways in a pattern to distribute nutrients throughout the entire cell of slime mold. In almost the exact same way as the railways in Japan are designed to transport people from city to city. I say almost because the slime mold actually did a better, more efficient job than humans did, than engineers did in Japan. And you can look that up. And it's a single-celled organism. So if you're going to quantify it with the ability to transmit nutrients, to have the ability to have an immune system, any of these things can be quantified in a single-celled organism. Their whole argument is bullshit.
Yeah, most of them are. I have one other thing that like kind of it was so stupid, but I had been on the live for like 2 hours and I was like, I don't even know how to start with this. But it's the building argument, right? Like if you have a like building materials and you lay one brick down and then someone takes that brick away, they're not destroying your building, right? And I was like, I know that this is disanalogous. I just don't know how right now because my brain was
Say that one more time. I've never heard that argument.
This is one of the worst arguments I've ever heard in my life.
I haven't heard this one yet. Hold on, I'm curious to hear it.
They literally said
the building isn't an organism that's taking its necessary conditions of development.
And like I was trying to be like, bro, you can't, like, a building isn't living, like it's totally different. But they just kept saying, well, it's basically the same. Like you can't, if I'm building a building and someone comes and takes away the first brick that I laid down, that doesn't mean that they destroyed my building. So like if you take a fetus and kill it, you're not killing a baby, you're killing like what would become a baby or something. So you can't compare the two. And my brain was so shot. I was like, what is going on?
Here's what I always say. Let's make it analogous. No, yeah. Let's say there's some machine, right? Because it can't be that you're building it. It has to be that it's building itself within your environment, right? Like in your house or something. For some reason, the conditions are allowing for this development of this building on its own, right?
Right, yeah.
Now, if by then you, for some reason, decide to kill it or remove the first brick of the building and therefore the development stops, I mean, yeah, you did remove what would be. Like, there's no getting around that.
Yeah.
Can I make a biological argument for this?
As long as it doesn't go on for 10 minutes.
At the moment of conception, I won't. This is a quick one. At the moment of conception, right? Every single person on the planet has an individual 30 billion alphanumerical genomic code. If you remove one piece of that code, you will completely fuck up that person.
Right.
So if you want to do it from a building block standard of genes, you remove one bit of that code or take that keystone out of that building and replace it with foam, you've now destroyed the structural integrity of that organism, whether it's a person or a building.
Okay.
Awesome. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, that was basically, I just wanted to mostly talk to you guys because like I'm still new at like arguing pro-life stuff, so I'm like
I was
a little bit shaky.
Can I ask like why you got stumped? Were you just like, this is a ridiculous argument, I don't quite know how to respond to it? Or were you like, it was most the fact that it was so ridiculous because like I'm pretty good at like almost, I know how to debate bodily autonomy, I know how to shoot that down, I know how to shoot down the violinist argument, I know how to shoot down pretty much everything. But for some reason, the building thing was just, I was 2 hours into my live and I had heard so many dumb arguments and I was like, dude, I can't even do this anymore. I don't even know why.
Your brain's like, what?
Like, seriously, someone also compared babies to plants and I was like, what are we talking? Someone compared babies to couches. I was like, what is going on? I don't know.
I know. I actually really, I love watching your lives. I watch your lives quite often.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with them, but those two things, I was like, I don't know if my brain is just going crazy or if these are actually hard arguments. I know the first one for me was kind of difficult because he just kept saying like, until the brain can like start physically understanding what sentience is, that's when I make it a person. And I'm like, I just don't get that. I don't understand that. But thank you guys for helping. If you want to get someone else out in here, you can.
Mendoza, I've got a question for you.
I think we have a pro-choicer in here, but
that'd be awesome. Bye. So I have a quick question. So initially I was, I'm more of the type of person like, do whatever the hell you want with your life. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. I don't have to pay for your sins or whatever. And my initial argument back in the day was, look, as long as you're not using my money to pay for it, I really don't care what you do. So where do you stand on like the taxation or the use of public funds to fund abortion versus people using their own money to get an abortion?
I agree with you. Let me be clear to the people saying it's not a fetus. Let me go back to Abby Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. 6 weeks. It has a body.
Okay, so you would consider yourself you're pro-life?
Of course I'm pro-life. I almost got killed by alcohol abortion.
Really?
Oh, good.
Yes, damn. I have a fetal alcohol spectrum. I have almost got killed by alcohol abortion. People are like, oh, it's not a fetus. People, let me talk to you again. At 6 weeks, there's a body. There's a heart. There are legs. But when the baby is destroyed, they cannot call it a baby. They jokingly call it's a piece of clumps of cells. After they put the baby back together after the abortion clinic is happening, after they put it back together and stuff, they give it out to scientists where they dispose of it into pig food. Can you believe how disgusting that is? Yeah.
No, I'm with you. And
we've seen the videos of them haggling prices for baby parts, right? Like it's horrendous.
That's another thing too, is like a lot of people will say like, okay, like Planned Parenthood is a nonprofit, like, which
oh no, they're totally wrong.
I know. Yeah, it's definitely
a federal based profit and stuff, and it's ridiculous. People think that it's just not the non-profit stuff. Adolf Hitler had nephews and stuff, and sadly he castrated them because he knew if he lost the war, his nephews would marry children. So don't tell me that like, men should get vasectomies and stuff. There was an evil man who castrated his nephews because he was afraid if he was going to lose the war.
Yeah, we're with you, Nathan. I think we all agree for sure. I thought, and then I realized we're friends. I'm like, oh wait, I know Nathan, and we're friends. But
not your body, so no opinion. Please, if you believe that, jump into the live. Let's debate it, because it's not your body either.
I'm gonna thank you so much for hopping on, Nathan. I'm gonna try
Thanks,
to get
Nathan.
someone who's pro-choice in here. But yes, I love you, darling.
God bless you, buddy.
Wonderful day.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye. Oh.
Okay, let's see. It's so funny because I keep seeing like that.
I keep seeing pro-choice people. Are they not like willing to go live?
Bro, why did Illis just call me sweetheart?
Sorry, waiting for that ban. If you then jump in if you want to. If you're pro-choice or disagree with anything, then come in. And I didn't like how Ellis Philosophy laughed at Nathan either. I didn't think that was cool. If that's
okay.
I'd go live
if you're pro-choice, request it.
Hey, isn't there a way? So have you guys noticed that you can? I've seen people do it where they adjust their settings, where they can take people that have like lower followers.
I don't go live on my own enough to actually. I have no idea if you can do that. I always jump in other people's lives and help them out.
Have you noticed that, Sanvi? Or am I like, have you gone in live and seen guests where they have like 74 followers? I'm like, how are you guesting?
I think they lowered the number to 500. I heard someone say that.
I don't know if you can adjust it yourself. Oh, you can invite someone. Okay, see, I'm not tripping.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we have 3 guests now, so let's see. Okay, let's see what she says. I'm gonna try to get someone who's pro-choice.
Oh.
Hi, how are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's up? Can I hear y'all's points first before I even are all y'all pro-life or what's going on? Oh, okay.
So I'm just kind of hosting. So like if you're pro-choice and want to take that position, I'll just kind of like step back and let you guys talk.
I'm pro-life.
Okay. And did the girl on the bottom speak as well, or like?
Sanvi, are you there? I can't hear her. Can you?
No, Sanvi, did we lose you? Oh, she muted herself.
Muted.
Yeah.
Wait, can you hear me?
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, now I can.
Back now.
Okay. Yeah, it like glitches out sometimes. But yeah, I'm pro-life.
Okay.
She just left.
Can I hear y'all's points first before
Wait,
I say
is her box still there?
Yeah, I can still see Sanvi's box.
No, the other girl's box.
Yeah, I can see her. I can still hear her.
I can hear you, but I can't see your box. Would you mind disconnecting and then I'll okay, if you guys can see it. That's so weird that I can't see it.
I can disconnect.
So, who said that?
Me.
I can't see. So I can't see the girl that just came in. I can't see your box. So can you disconnect and then I'll bring you back in?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, cool. That's super weird. Yeah, and Sanvi, if you want to hop off, you're good. You can.
Yeah, let me just do it.
Okay.
Potentiality does not equal a degree, babe.
Okay. All right. Is my box there now?
Okay, yes, you're good.
All right. So, what I believe in, I believe, since we have the right to do anything with our bodies, I feel like it's okay for a woman to have that choice to have an abortion, especially if they ain't in the right circumstance at the right time. You know what I'm saying? Just like with any other decision, they can have that decision to not have a baby. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. But when we say, why am I echoing?
Yeah, Slim, now you're echoing.
And now you are too. Oh, what in the world?
Okay,
wait. Try muting and unmuting yourself. I swear it works.
Okay.
And Sambi here, you can. Oh, now I'm echoing too. Fuck.
Oh my gosh, this whole thing just got out of control. And I'm still echoing. Oh, I think I stopped.
No, you're good.
Okay.
We're good.
Sweet.
Okay. Sambi,
Okay,
you want to get this first one?
Zombies
I think
muted.
I'm making. What if I'm making it echo?
No, I think we're all good now.
Okay.
Oh no! Now I can hear you echo.
See, okay, I'm gonna hop off.
Okay, bye, girl.
Wow.
Okay. You can ask your question again, and then Slim can answer it. Like I said, I'm just kind of hosting. I'm packing, so I'm like listening and kind of chiming in here and there. So, yeah, you can go ahead and ask your question again.
Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute.
No, I know. She was asking you to restate your stance. So I remember it. You basically said because you believe we have the right to do whatever we want. So that kind of right there, like, isn't necessarily a true statement. But I'm going to go over, like you said, it's our body. So if we're not in the right situation, you know, then we should have the right to abort the baby. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So. Are you talking about from like a scientific perspective? It's your body, like a biological perspective.
Yeah, like as a biological woman, like to have the baby, or like if you can have a baby, you know what I'm saying?
Right, and not everyone can, so I understand that. But biologically speaking, that fetus inside of you, that embryo, it right after conception, is no longer biologically your body. And I mean that in every scientific way possible. It is not the same genetic code as you. It is you only have a 1% chance of actually being a viable blood donor to it. Your body has to create a separate organ just so that baby can get oxygen, nutrients, and its own blood type. So by no biological standard is it actually your body. So I get what you're saying, where what if you're not in the right situation? So my question to you would be, what are your thoughts on contraceptives and abstinence? If you're not in the right spot to have a baby, are you ethically in the right position in your life to be having consensual sex and not for the purposes of love and procreation within the bounds of a stable family life? But do you believe that sex should just be, you know, between a boyfriend and girlfriend just because you guys like each other? What is the purpose of it?
I mean, I'm sorry, can you restate it? Because it was a lot. Like, can you...
Sorry, what is the purpose of sex?
Oh, okay.
From a fundamental standpoint.
Well, you talking about like scientifically, or like...
What do you believe the purpose of sex is?
Oh, well, I mean, if it's comfortable, if I'm comfortable, he's comfortable, and we're in love with each other, you know what I'm saying? Or it don't even have to be like a connection type of thing, you know what I'm saying? But,
so you believe sex could be used for everything from expressions of love to selfish, individualistic pleasure, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we have workers out here that shouldn't be, bashed or nothing like that, because that's exactly what they do. Like sexual workers, like they're in that type of situation. You know what I'm saying? So.
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you get a little closer?
Am I speaking louder?
Oh yeah, there you go.
Now you're much better. So yeah. I can also address your first question, where just as I was kind of walking around before you jump in, Slim. So you had kind of said if you felt like the woman wasn't in a good position to have a child, you felt like that was justifiable means to have an abortion, right?
Yeah.
So I would argue to that the quality of their life, or the potential that they might have a rough life, isn't justification to kill them.
Okay, well.
Can I add one point to that?
I have a also statement.
Well, let her just answer.
Okay.
Like, aren't babies not also aware? So, like, if they're not aware of what's going on, like, how could it hurt them if they don't know what's going on yet? You know what I'm saying? So, I think it would be better for them to not be in a household where they know where they know that the parent isn't like as fit, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's say that you have a psychotic parent or an abusive parent, I think it would be better for them to abort the baby, you know what I'm saying, if they know the situation that they're in.
So again, so babies are aware, and like if you want to take the position of like, it sounds like you're taking a more like sentience, like arguing from sentience position, but
I'm not aware of what that word means, so can you like
okay, so there's different terms that people argue. Are you fairly new to like debating pro-life, pro-choice? Are you kind of on the fence, or are you like 100% pro-choice?
I mean, like, I'm on the fence, you know what I'm saying? I don't bash people who, like,
no, that's good.
Want to go for pro-life, you know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't bash people who want to go pro-choice either. It's like,
right. No,
it's a woman's choice at the end of the day, because it's their body.
I definitely think having conversations, you know, with people like you is probably some of my favorite conversations, because you're open to like hearing you know, different ideas and stuff like that. And so there's different things or positions that people tend to argue the pro-choice position from, and that can be sentience, it can be
quality of life,
quality of life, the you know, past consciousness, all of these sort of positions. And the pro-life, so my position would be, if we argue from any other point except for the point of conception, there's an arbitrary line that's drawn somewhere else down the road. So, and I would say to like your quality of life, I don't think the possibility of saying that that child might be born into a bad situation is justification to kill it, because people rise out of adversity all of the time. You know,
and
people
they fall into it.
And people fall into it. Yeah. So you could be, you know, so to me, I would ask back to you, do you think a woman that is rich, wealthy, she's pregnant, she's going to give birth to this baby and it's going to have this wonderful life, and then there's this, you know, single mother that might be poor, you know, she might be on the system. Do you think one of those lives is more valuable than the other?
No.
Exactly. So you kind of just proved your own point. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, I mean, like, if the rich white woman want to have an abortion, there's nothing wrong with that either. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if she's not prepared in that moment to have a baby and she want to further her career without a baby, then that's her choice.
So that wasn't what I was saying. What I'm saying is the lives that they are pregnant with. If you think that both of their lives are equally valuable, then why would you justify killing over circumstance? Thank you for that.
Oh, cool. Thanks. Can I add one thing to that? Miss Mendoza never mentioned the skin color of the affluent woman. So I just want to like point that out, because that kind of shows like this idea in your head that the people who are successful are of a particular race or something like that. And realistically, there are plenty of people of every ethnic background in this country that are very, very poor and very, very wealthy. So I just kind of wanted to point that out, like, just so you can kind of understand like your own cognitive line of reconciliation.
Confused. Was that talking to me?
Yeah. So I had never mentioned race.
I thought you had said like a white woman. I'm sorry.
She just said a wealthy woman.
I said a wealthy woman.
I had misheard her. So
yeah.
That's
so I'm saying like a wealthy woman versus a poor woman, basically saying that the quality of life that child is potentially going to be born into, I don't think that negates the value of the life inside them. I would say that the person being born into a good situation is just as inherently valuable as a person that's possibly being born into a bad situation. And I don't think that's justification for a woman to get an abortion. The possibility of having a bad life. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at you, Mendoza, one of the commenters. So
I don't really, I mean, like, of course there is another host inside of you, but I believe, like, as like the head host, you know what I'm saying? I'm the one who's mainly in control, and it's just,
but is that not true even after the baby is born?
yeah, but
You're still
stuff starts to
100% in control of
change.
their environment.
Not really, because they'll start to be influenced by different things even when they get out automatically.
They can be influenced by external stimuli even while they're in utero. That is absolutely true.
Yeah, but I wasn't saying like the baby was a parasite or anything. It's just
No, I know.
It's just like any woman I believe can do it. Like, I know people would disagree with like the quality of life, like the amount how much a life means to people, and I'm not negating the fact that of course there is a baby, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. There is a fetus inside of you, but it's not out yet. You know, I haven't met it yet, so I don't believe that I should automatically hold guilt to something that I don't necessarily feel guilt to, because it's still a choice at the end of the day to have a baby or not. And especially like if they're like a 13 or 14-year-old who's not really educated on sex or something.
Go ahead, Mendoza.
Automatically.
Yeah. So again, so this kind of goes back.
Have this baby.
This kind of goes back to like a situational circumstance. I don't think that the value of the life shifts given the circumstance, whether the woman is young or, you know, whatever circumstances they're going to be born into, that life is still going to be intrinsically valuable. So either you kind of have to concede to, like, what you're saying is you concede that it's a baby, you concede that it's a unique life, and that you essentially don't care.
It's not that I don't care. It's just, of course, it's a life, but it hasn't came out yet, and it's not necessarily developed. Now, if it's like, I believe in abortion to an extent, especially
why
like
does that determine its value? What magical thing happens in that birth canal that changes the value of that person? And I'm not trying to bash you or anything.
Nothing. It's just that the person hasn't came out yet, and I haven't met them. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that. And it is, I don't want to meet them yet if I make that choice. Like, that's the whole point, is like, I don't want to ruin the way my life is now. Especially that's why a lot of people think, because at the end of the day, it is our choice. Like, anyone who have an abortion, at the end of the day, it's their choice too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, and I think, and like the reason why I'm like trying to approach this conversation just like a little softer is because I think that you are like coming from a genuine place. I don't necessarily think you're maybe stuck on being pro-choice, or maybe you don't quite know your reasons for being pro-choice other than you just think that the woman should have an option. But I would really suggest like doing research on what abortion really is, because a lot of women take the pro-choice position.
Yeah, I know some people like you can suck the baby out, like especially like at different trimesters.
I mean, it's
or, like,
brutal.
They can rip it apart. They can dissolve it with saline, and the fetus absolutely can experience pain at those levels.
No,
we can talk about consciousness and sentience. Your consciousness, your ability to have a thought process, to have brain waves present, things like that. But in every single stage of development that we're talking about, like Miss Mendoza was saying, we can draw these arbitrary lines and say, okay, well, 6 months down the road, let's say you have a kid and you're married, you have a house, you're in a stable situation, you're in your mid-20s, everything's going great, and then 2 years in, you have a divorce, you're on food stamps, you're below the poverty level. Like, at no point does that determine the quality of your child's life, right? Or the it doesn't determine the value of their life. So we can always draw these arbitrary lines in the sand. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that the baby is a life, but that's only when I believe like you can have abortion to an extent, like especially like when you're first finding out, it would be like a couple of months, like 2 months, right? 2 or 3 months, especially like if you don't know the signs and nothing like that. But
Okay.
like I believe that you can do it up to like before half of your pregnancy. You know what I'm saying? Like, or before they start to really develop like their brain and like what they are aware like of the full physical form baby. You know what I'm saying? That's where I believe the extent is going to, because at
So
that
can
point
I
all
ask
of their
what makes
body
you
is
draw? Can I
developed.
ask what makes you draw that line or that distinction in like in your mind? What draws that line for you?
It's just they're at that point where they can feel stuff. I believe that's when they can feel stuff, is when their body is fully developed and you can see the gender and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when I draw the line. Like, cause
Gender can actually be determined pre-conception. So, but if you're talking about at the point that they can feel things, we only can measure that based off of brainwave activity. So we don't actually know at what point people can and can't feel things. Someone in a comatose state, if you cut their leg off, can't technically feel it. So is their life at that point? Can we just
but
kill
how are
them?
you
Or
so sure that the baby can feel it though? How are
I'm
you
not
so sure?
100% sure, but we're
Oh,
not sure that they can't either. What I'm saying is that the this line that you've drawn in the sand, right at the point where they have, I'm trying to find like at what week gestation you're drawing this line of saying, okay, it's okay to have an abortion before this, but after this point, if it has fingers or prefrontal cortex or even the gray brain matter, like this is the point at which you can't have an abortion or it should be ethically wrong. Are you
no, I
appealing
don't.
from like a scientific or an ethical standpoint?
No, I'm not. I'm not negating the fact that the baby is in there developing. I know that the baby is in
Right.
there developing and it's aware of different stuff, but it's not completely aware to the point where it will remember, because when babies first come out and to the point where they can speak, they don't remember, or even like 8 or 7 years old, like you probably won't remember what happened when you were a
Okay,
baby.
so if that's the case, then would you say abusing a child is okay because they won't remember it?
No, I don't agree to abuse either. And just because they don't remember something, they don't mean they don't automatically connected
But do
to
you
abuse.
see how these standards that you're drawing are actually contradictory? Oh, she jumped out.
I figured that was going to
I
happen.
was trying to be really nice.
I know she really was sweet. I actually like talking to people like that because I feel like those are the people like who you can like kind of change their mind a little bit. So yeah, she was sweet. I think I think so many people nowadays, it's like they take the pro-choice position and they don't really know why they take it.
I think
Or
they
they've
do it
never,
because it's the social norm, right?
yeah. Okay, so
That's what's pushed.
someone keeps saying, let me join. I can't.
You guys got to request.
Yeah, you have to request. I can't just like accept you. Okay, so this girl, I'm gonna bring her
I will never
on.
be able to.
I have a few things. I just need to. I think this girl's. Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
Are you pro-choice?
So yeah, I'm actually pro-choice, but I actually used to be very, very heavily pro-life. So I kind of get both sides.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna again. So I kind of keep saying like I am packing, so I'm kind of like hopping around, but I'm listening. So yeah, you and Slim can kind of talk a little bit, and then I'll chime in while you'll see me like walking by, but I'm here and I'm listening.
I can only stay on for about 15 more minutes, so
that's good.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a few other pro-lifers in the queue, so once you hop off, I'll bring someone else on that's pro-life.
So basically, I used to be very pro-life because I thought like, basically the way you guys think, and so I understand like where you guys are coming from and stuff like that. But then I had kids, and then I got pregnant, and my pregnancy was extremely hard. I had emergency C-sections for both of them. The second one almost killed me. And I just feel like where there is risk, there must be a choice. And I feel like the government has too much control. The government is like trying to control people like too much. I feel like the government should not be able to control people's bodies and what people like. I feel like even with like the whole like pew pew situation, you know what I'm talking about? I don't even know if I can say the G word on here.
I don't know if you can, but you'll never catch me slipping, so I know what you're talking about.
Okay, so basically, even with that, like I feel like the government should not be able to like control us, and I feel like
100% with you on that one.
Like, yeah, so I feel like basically that's giving the government too much control over me,
okay,
and my body, and my thing.
Oh, go ahead.
And like I said, like I almost died giving birth, and there's no way that, and in the beginning of both of my pregnancies, I was completely fine. I was completely healthy. It was supposed to be a normal pregnancy, normal delivery. So there's just no way to know in the beginning of a pregnancy if it could actually literally kill you. And if I had to choose me or the thing or the baby that's inside of me, I'm going to choose me. As fucked up as that might sound, but like my kids need a mom.
See, and I don't think that's messed up at all. I actually think Miss Mendoza has made this point on several lives, so I don't want to speak for her, but I think both of us are in agreement that if the life of the mother is in danger, and the way to save her life is to, and they don't actually call those medical necessary abortions. I forget the actual medical term for them, but we would both agree that the mother has every right to save her life. But let me just throw a few statistics out there real fast. So, according to the CDC, let's see here, 18 in every 1,000 births will result in the mother's death. 18 in every 100,000. I'm sorry, that was the wrong number. 18 in every 100,000 births will result in the mother's death. 30 in every 100,000 abortions will result in the mother's death. So there's also a very real risk to life at the mother's for an abortion. I also have children. My wife had one easy pregnancy, and the other two, she had preeclampsia. She was put on bed rest. Her blood pressure was to the point where it could have killed her, right? We took medical. So I understand your appeal to the mother's life 100%. And I completely agree with you that if the mother's like, if she, I need my wife here and my other kids need their mom, right? I get what you're saying 100%. And in that instance, you have every right to save your life. Same thing with the pew-pews. Right,
but also
you have the right to save your life, even at the expense of taking someone else's.
Yeah, but let me say this: like, we don't know in the beginning of the pregnancy if, like, that. You know what I mean? So, like I said, like where there is risk, there must be a choice, and that's why I believe that people should get vaccinated. But I don't think the government should make people get vaccinated because even if it's just a minute risk, like there's still a risk there. And also,
do you believe that choice should be present before a risk is present?
Please let me finish. I was just saying that also I feel like I'm sorry, I completely forgot when you interrupted me. I had a TBI when I was in the military, so thoughts be leaving my brain. Anyway, I just feel like where there's risk. I'm trying to remember what the hell I was gonna say. Oh, you were talking about like statistics about like birth being like, or abortion being like more dangerous than birth. But does that really account for afterbirth and like medical complications that could be like lifelong that could also kill you after birth? Because after I gave birth, I was in and out of the hospital and I almost died, like, again, even after birth, like not really so much like during birth, but I had like a long like laundry list of medical complications that I was going through. And, I had like issues with, I'm not going to go into the specific issues, but I had issues with my afterbirth and stuff like that. And nobody would like listen to me. It's just so risky, like in like postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, postpartum like psychosis, like that that could kill people too. You know what I mean? I feel like they're not like taking that into account. And like I said, I feel like nobody should be like forced to go through that if they don't want to, because like I know more, like I know like 3 people that have died giving birth, and then I know like a couple people who have actually unalived from postpartum depression. And it's just like a real problem, and I just feel like there's a risk that you take when you're pregnant, and I don't think anybody should be forced to go through that, because it's such a life-changing, and it changes your body in ways that it will never be the same for some people. Like, and I just feel like you shouldn't be forcing somebody to do like that, and I don't think the government should have a choice in that. You know, you could be like pro-life for yourself. Like for me, like I used to always tell myself I don't think I could have an abortion. But, you know, knowing what I know now, like if I had another kid, it could probably kill me. Then obviously I'm going to choose myself to keep my 2 kids that I already have here alive and happy and healthy with a mother.
Okay, so a couple of things. I mean, your risk argument doesn't quite make sense, because with everything in life, there's risk. Like when you choose to get in a car every morning, there's risk. And
I choose to get in the car. That's the thing, though. I have that choice whether to to get in the car or to not get in the car.
But you also people choose to get pregnant, and I would say to like if your pregnancy ends up being a rough pregnancy, if you go through things after pregnancy, which I fully acknowledge women go through those things, I would say the solution to that is to end the suffering and not the sufferer. So we should aim for solutions that help women go through those things easier, whether it's mental or physical, instead of ending the life of the child.
And can I point one more thing out?
Yeah, go ahead.
So with your risk assessment of post-abortion or like postpartum depression and post-pregnancy things, there's ample evidence to suggest that you can have post-abortion depression, psychosis, what's it called? Not the split personality disorder, but it's a type of depression. It's a very specific type of depression where your mood just yeah. So
I'm not like negating that, but
so all risk should be taken with as much information as possible, right? So risk assessment education should be done. I think should be covered more than the flipping sex education that they put in schools now. Sex education in schools now is honestly nothing more than child grooming. And I'm saying that coming from someone who was abused as a child, who not only was groomed by adults, but groomed by other children who were just older than me. So sex education is complete trash. So what we need to do is have risk assessment analysis for individuals and say, okay, with my doctor, should I take these risks? What are the potential risks? Because if you call up Planned Parenthood and you ask them what is the 7-year risk assessment for an abortion, they're not going to even know that information.
Yeah. Okay. So also another thing, like one thing that I noticed that we agree on is basically the government shouldn't be like making decisions on our bodies. So I'm just wondering, like, why do you think it's okay for the government to tell me that I can't do something with my own body?
I think it's okay.
And also one more thing. Also, I heard you guys earlier talking about if it was like a young girl, I'm going to say girl because it's not a woman if she's a child. If a young girl got pregnant, that doesn't, like, I guess, negate the life of the person inside of her, you guys were saying. And I just want to know, like, 12, 13-year-old child should not be giving birth. Like, if she should not be forced to have a baby that she didn't, I mean, at that age, she was probably, you know what I mean, like raped and stuff.
She was probably like, SA'd.
Yeah.
In fact, because consent cannot be given, it is SA. I don't care. Like, if you're that age, it's sexual assault. Where are they going?
I don't know. I don't know if she's leaving. I don't know if it's TikTok.
I wanted to cover that because my mom got pregnant at 15. So did my sister. My mom had 7 kids.
You know, I think it's like it's glitchy because it keeps kicking everyone off. I swear it's not me.
Right?
I'm like packing and moving around, so I'm like I couldn't have possibly kicked them off.
Okay, I gotta hop out. Oh, she's saying
I think she's back. She's back. Hold on.
it kicked me. Ah, that's weird. I gotta hop off, so I'll let someone else kind of take over for me, okay?
That's fine.
Okay, thanks. See ya.
Yeah, it booted me. I don't know why it's doing that.